Hi, come on in. Happy Sunday. Yeah, this is an actual same day recording, same day release video. Haven't had one of those in a while, have we? Well, hopefully I can get it edited and up before the end of the day today, but it is Sunday when I'm recording this, so hopefully it will also be Sunday when you see it. Today is the last day of November. Can you believe it? It's been cooler here. We've been unusually cool. We should still be in the 60s and 70s, and we've only been in the 50s. Our nights have been dipping down into the 40s. And yeah, guys, I still have no heat in the house, so it's been a challenge for Miss Nala and I. But we are snuggling up together, doing our best to stay warm. And what better way to stay warm than to do some old homemade old-fashioned comfort food cooking? You heard me right. Connie's Kitchen is open today. What are you going to see? You're going to see my homemade meatloaf, my what I call Italian style meatloaf, and you're going to get to see my graham cracker crust recipe. You wanted to see them together? So I'm putting together the same video. We are going to start with just a touch of news for you guys. The first thing is I did pull the trigger at Temu for about maybe $35, $40 worth of items. They've given me a $20 minimum. Okay, I guess. But I needed some extra things to finish my Christmas decor. A couple of those items, they split my order, so a couple of the items will be arriving in the next few days from local warehouse. And then it will probably not be until about another 10 days or so when the rest of the order comes in from direct ship from China. So some of my decorations are not going to be up for very long. They'll be up for a couple of weeks, but I typically leave everything up until Little Christmas, which is around January 10th or so, give or take. So we'll get to enjoy them, and you'll get to see everything once I have it all put together. But it's looking marvelous, darling. Absolutely marvelous. So a little bit of Temu for you. Don't know what I'm going to do or if I'm going to do any more after that. I'm getting some really weird communications from Temu. I'm getting certain things from local warehouses that say I have to do a $100 minimum order. I'm getting things from Temu Direct that says I have to do a $20 minimum order. I got to look into it a little further before I do any more shopping. But I am starting to make a list of things that I might want to look for on Temu versus looking for them on Whatnot. Am I going back to Temu full time? No. No, I still don't trust them. I still don't like the delays. I'm not happy that individual items from local warehouse, everything, even if I'm only getting a $2 item, gets dinged with a $2.99 shipping charge. That's unreasonable when your shipping charge is higher than the value of your purchase. So I got to work around that. I got to figure out what they're going to do about it or how they handle it. If you guys have any suggestions about what your experiences, if you live in the United States, and what your new experiences have been since the change, I am finding the prices are higher. In some cases, about 50% higher, not just 30% to accommodate for the higher tariffs. But I'm finding some things I got a year ago are double the price of what I paid for them then. They're that much higher. So I will still be shopping at Whatnot. I will still be looking for new shops at Whatnot. I will still be seeing a lot of you on Whatnot, but I will be doing dribs and drabs and little bits of Temu here as I develop some sort of comfort with that. Does that make sense to you? I'm just not going to dive right back into Temu. There's still too many kinks that they have to work out. All right, so that's the first piece of news. The second piece of news is today is Miss Nala's last day on her antibiotic for her bladder infection. She goes to the vet's tomorrow. They will draw blood. They'll check to see if there's any signs of infection remaining. They'll also express her bladder and check her urine directly to eliminate any possibilities that that bladder infection still remains. They're also going to evaluate her for the damage to her knee, for that injury. She has not improved. She hasn't gotten any worse. She's still limping the same amount. She's still favoring it the same amount, even being on the pain medications. There has been no improvement. As I think I let you know in the last video, I did order a ramp for her, which should be delivered sometime tomorrow. I got a great steal on it between using my coupons and gift cards at Amazon. I got it for under $40 delivered to my home. So she'll have a ramp to go in and out to relieve herself. I also, on Whatnot, at RylahsAnimalHouse, she happened to have knee braces, and they're adjustable with Velcro, and they're just enough to give support, so that it's kind of like, think of it like wrapping an ace bandage around an injury. It takes some of the pressure off it and it holds it in place so you don't feel as much pain. So I do have some knee supports coming. Laura worked me a great deal because they are adjustable supports and they don't really have a measurement. We're not sure if they're going to fit Nala or not. If they don't fit her, I'll donate them to the local shelter, or I'll donate them free up on Marketplace, or one of you guys, if you need it, I'll make them available to you. All right, so that's where we're at with Miss Nala. We'll know more tomorrow. I'll give you updates as quickly as I can. When I know, you'll know. But other than that, her personality, her attitude, her general behavior, guys, I lucked out. This is one of the sweetest shelter dogs I have ever rescued. She also showed me a different side of her. I was outside raking her area yesterday, cleaning it up. I am out there every couple of days cleaning it up. And of course, massive amounts of pine needles are still coming off the trees. That probably won't end until late December. But I had my back turned to her, but I could hear she was doing something. And when I turned around, I burst out laughing. It was like Levi was back. She had dug a hole. She was in the process of digging a hole, but she had started to dig that hole, and she was digging it right where the concrete walkway where I have the little patio table. She was digging it right at the end against that. She dug a hole, and she was making care to make sure it was this long and this wide, and you could see her constantly changing positions, and all of a sudden she just flopped herself in the hole. And I'm thinking, oh, well, that's Levi if I ever saw it. She just wanted that cool earth on her belly. And I laughed, and I'm thinking, of course she's going to do that when I don't have the phone out there to record, because I don't drag my phone around with me everywhere. I should know better, though. I should keep my phone around my neck or something at the ready when it comes to her. But to see her comfortable enough to dig a hole, she didn't even look at me to see if she was going to get in trouble for doing it. She just did it. That tells me she feels safe enough to be herself. And I don't care if she digs out there. That's her spot. If she wants to dig, great. I wish she would dig a hole further in the back of the yard, because that's where I bury the deposits that she leaves. I don't bag them up and put them in the trash. I bury them and let them compost down. And I have a big hole in the far back corner where I do that. So if I could get her to dig a hole in certain locations, it would be great. Okay, that's it for the little mini news right now. So let's get right into this meatloaf recipe, okay? I'm going to show you all the ingredients that I use. I show you how I prepare it, the order I prepare it, how long to cook it, everything that you need. The only thing I didn't show you, and I'm not going to show you, is me devouring it. It's going to be difficult for me not to just sit down and with a fork and eat this whole thing, because when I did the taste test after it came out of the oven, OMG, right? Nala agrees, she's barking. So check this out, guys. All your ingredients are pretty basic for this meatloaf recipe. And as you can see, I've got everything laid out here. You're going to need, if you're doing this for a family, you're going to need 3 pounds of lean ground beef. This is 93% ground beef. You can do it with a cheaper meat, but your meatloaf will come out a little bit greasier, but I'll show you a way to get around that grease. So if you want to cut back to 85% ground beef or even 80% to make it more affordable for you, you can do that. I use 93%. 3 pounds costs me about $20. But for me, it's worth it because of the taste. You're also going to use 1 cup of Italian breadcrumbs, pre-seasoned Italian breadcrumbs. You're going to use 2 eggs, at least medium. You can use a large, but make sure they're at least a medium or a large. You're going to use 1 medium onion, chopped, not diced, just chopped. You don't want itty bitty invisible pieces in there. You're going to use garlic powder. You're going to use grated Parmesan. You're going to use pre-mixed Italian spices. Or if you don't have pre-mixed Italian spices, you can use individual portions of basil, oregano, and parsley. You're going to use 2 cups of sauce. And you can use, if I like to use the traditional sauce, but you can also use marinara sauce as a substitute. All right, that's all your ingredients. It doesn't take a lot to make this. So I've got my 3 pounds sitting in the big bowl for the final mixing. I've got a smaller bowl here, and this is where I'm going to put my other ingredients to pre-mix them, so that way I can blend them more thoroughly in with the meat. So the first thing I need is 1 cup of breadcrumbs. Now, the breadcrumbs is not a filler, it's a binder. All right, it's going to help hold the meat together so that your blend, your final mix, doesn't fall apart after it's been cooked. So you start with the 1 cup of the breadcrumbs. You're going to add 2 eggs. Oh, I thought I only had 2, but I had 3 in here. That's fine. Make sure you're very careful not to get any shells in there. And I think I just did get some shells in there. Hold on. Crack them off to the side. That way you can be careful. Make sure there aren't any eggshells getting down into the mix. You only need 2. So I'll set that one back in the refrigerator. Don't worry about mixing them in yet. Just get them down into the bowl. All right, hold on. I don't think you can see this. Let me change position here a little bit. Where are we going with this? There we go. I don't know what I'm doing this morning. It's early. All right. Add in you can add in your chopped onion now, but I like to take my chopped onion and that I will just dump onto the meat. That was 1 medium-sized sweet onion chopped. My Parmesan, you can use this kind of grated Parmesan that comes this way, or if you want, make sure you shake it up so it doesn't have a lot of clumps in it, or you can get fresh Parmesan and grate it, which is fine, but you're going to use a 1/2 cup of the Parmesan. I got a clump in there that wants to come out, so I'm just going to kind of break that up a little bit. If you do have clumps that come out into it, make sure you just kind of press them down, break them up. They'll break up a little bit during the mixing. There you go. 1/2 cup of the parm. That's all that's needed for there. This is easy, guys. 1 tablespoon of the garlic powder. Now, if you're not a big fan of garlic, don't skip this part. Just cut it down. Instead of using a full tablespoon, use a 1/2 tablespoon. Trust me, you won't notice it if you cut it down, but it does make a difference in the taste. So I'm going to use 1 whole tablespoon of garlic powder, not garlic salt. There is no garlic salt or no salt of any kind in this recipe. All right, so far so good, right? 2 tablespoons of the Italian seasonings. I buy the McCormick Italian seasoning. I absolutely love this blend, and it makes it more affordable for me to have it on hand. Check your clumps, make sure they break up fine. Okay, so there's 1 tablespoon. Here comes 2 tablespoons. And guys, also, if you're not using 3 pounds of beef, if you're only cutting this down in half to use 1.5 pounds, then make sure you cut everything else down in half, because the recipe I'm showing you is for a full 3 pounds of beef. 3 pounds will feed a family, but it'll also feed me about almost, oh my gosh, 8 to 10 meals. So that's why I always make a big batch. Plus, I'm also used to cooking for a family. All right. The last thing is the sauce. We're going to hold off on that for a minute. We're going to get this all mixed up. I'm just going to take a fork, because you really don't need anything more than that. You want to break down those egg yolks first. Now, because the eggs are in there, this is going to get very sticky and very bloppy. But that's what you want it to do, because you want all these things to get mixed in together so that they mix into your meat nicely. Doesn't have to be a perfect blend, but that's about what it needs to look like. It literally just, it's a mess. If you're cooking and it looks a mess, you've done something right. Okay, that's all it takes. You're going to pour this on top of your beef. Scrape your bowl out good. Don't leave any of that yummy stuff behind. Oops, hold on. My little cooking spatula is in the dishwasher, which you can probably hear running behind me. So I'm just going to use a little butter knife. Make sure I scrape everything out. You can use a rubber spatula, whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter. Okay, that's it. Scrape it out. You're done. Okay, get your bowl front and center. I have an old-fashioned potato masher. If you don't have this, use your hands or use a really thick, heavy-duty type wooden spoon. But what you want to start doing is you just want to start working that down into the meat. You're just starting to get it blended, guys, because you are going to have to use your hands to do this. All good cooks are not afraid to get their hands dirty. Okay? Now comes the sauce. 1 cup to start with. You could use up to 2 cups. Ooh, look at that. I had 1 cup left in that jar. I will let this jar drain or drizzle, however you want to call it, upside down while I work. We'll just turn that upside down and set it off to the side. All right, let's start to get some of this mixed in. This is where you're adding your moisture into your meat. You don't want your meat to be soaked in the sauce. You just want everything to be coated with the sauce. And as you can see, it's becoming more blended, more cohesive. If you don't have one of these potato mashers, guys, these are great for more than just potatoes. But as you can tell by some of the recipes I've shown you, I saved a lot of my grandmother's items. Okay. That looks pretty well mixed, doesn't it? It's not soupy looking. It doesn't have a lot of moisture in it, but it does have enough to hold it together. Make sure you get all your meat out from in between. You don't want to waste any of that, especially at the cost of ground beef. Now, you want to change this up a little bit, guys. you can add, you can subtract 1/3 of the beef and add ground pork to it. You can also subtract about a 1/2 pound of beef and add ground sausage to that. So you can mix this up a little bit. But you notice no rings, right? Hands getting down in the pot. Because can you see everything on the bottom that didn't get mixed in? You have got to roll this as if you're doing a dough to get everything off the bottom and thoroughly mixed in. You don't want to see clumps of spices like this. You want everything to be blended. So get in there, have fun, get your kids involved. Kids love to stick their hands in things. I did not bring this meat up to room temperature before doing this, and I gotta tell you guys, it's pretty cold. But that's okay. Cold is okay by me. So you're gonna keep flipping it, rolling it, poking it, punching it until you don't see any more clumps of spices. If you see clumps of spices, keep going because you don't have it mixed thoroughly enough. I'm seeing just a couple of clumps of spices here. Not much. Oh my gosh, this is cold. When you take it out of the fridge, you make sure it's, number one, it's thoroughly thawed before you even try to do this. But let it come up almost to room temperature so that your hands, wow, I'm going to get frostbite, so that your hands don't get super, super cold. All right, I am not seeing anything that I don't like. This absolutely looks delicious. And yes, your hands are going to be a little orange because that is the sauce. All right? That's why I brought my paper towels front and center. Okay, let's get that off my fingers as best I can for now. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's all our ingredients except for the last 1 cup of sauce. We will use that final 1 cup of sauce on the top of our loaf. Okay, I've got my cookie sheet. You are not going to cook this in a loaf pan. Do not use a loaf pan. Loaf pans are for breads. They're for cake type things. Use a cookie sheet. Regular aluminum foil, doesn't matter what brand it is. Your food is not going to be picky. You just want a little bit of aluminum foil on the bottom. All right? Leave it sticking up on the sides like a little bit of a well. Not hard to do, right? Pop it in the pan like that. Now, you're going to just lightly spray the top of the foil. Just a couple of bursts. That's all you need. That preps your pan to take the meatloaf, and the bottom of the meatloaf will not stick to the pan once you pull it out of the oven. The foil will also hold any of the grease that comes off of this. Now, I know I just washed my hands for doing this, but that's all right. I don't mind that I washed my hands. I can grab anything just to help guide this down into the pan. And then from there, you're literally just going to press it into the shape of a loaf. Press it as tightly as you can. Think of it like making a giant meatball. You're going to press it in from the sides to make it nice and tight. Press it from the ends, and then press down on it so that you get that loaf shape. Not hard to do, guys. Look at that. Isn't that like an absolutely perfect shaped loaf? So easy to do that. All right, more paper towels, please. I don't know where my assistant is today. I think she's sleeping over on her couch. It's okay. She can sleep. She'll get a taste test of this. My oven has been preheated at 350 degrees and it is ready to take this. This is going to go into the oven for 40 minutes. All right, we've combined all our ingredients. We've shaped it into a loaf. You can test it at 40 minutes if you have a thermometer. It should be 160 degrees dead center. Okay, so you can use a meat thermometer to make sure it's done. I know from experience, after 40 minutes, even this size loaf is usually perfectly. Whoops, got an onion there. All right, 40 minutes. Now, before I put it in the oven, I'm going to do the last, see if I can do this without making a major mess. I'm going to do the last cup of sauce. Yeah, that's pretty much drained. All right, I got my back up here. Oh, I still got strong arms or strong hands. I'm going to do my last cup of sauce, and I'm going to dribble it over the top. Doesn't have to be perfectly spread. What you're doing is you're making a very tasty flavor shield over the top of your loaf. Spread it a little bit if you want. That will bake down. It seals the juices into the top of the loaf. You don't want to lose a lot of steam while you're cooking it. After it's had 40 minutes in the oven, you pull it out if you want. At that point, you can add shredded Parmesan on the top of it, just across the middle, down the front, maybe a little bit of basil to decorate it up, and serve it. So let's get this thing in the oven. All right, oven time is done. Core temperature is sitting at 166. Look at that beautiful loaf. All the oil and grease is down in the bottom, being held by the aluminum foil. Let's pull this out. I'm going to let this rest for about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to make a slice so that you can see what it looks like. Okay, as you can see, I've moved it over onto a cooling rack. I put a little bit of aluminum foil underneath the cooling rack to let any additional oils or greases drip away from this while I'm letting this rest. Here is the original. All this grease is now confined to the foil where it can be folded up. I usually set it off to the side and I let it cool before I throw it away. But my baking pan, almost perfectly clear. 2 little drops of oil from picking up the foil. So cleanup is super easy. That's why you do it this way. Transfer was easy. This has been cooling now for almost 10 minutes. So it's time to take a slice and show you exactly how this looks. Now, before I slice it, let me tell you something. I made this loaf large. This is the size, it's shaped the size of sandwich bread because I love meatloaf sandwiches. And 1 slice will give me a sandwich. Because of that, I had to double my cooking time. I went from 40 minutes to about 90 minutes simply because it's so high and so thick. If you form this lower, shorter, in other words, half as high, you make it a more elongated loaf and lower, you will only have to cook it for 40 minutes. But let's take a look at the inside. I always use a spatula. That's a hint for cutting. It holds the end together. I do not use a serrated blade. You can use a serrated blade, but I don't. There's our meatloaf. Look at that. Does that not look delicious? Guys, I'm going to be rounding this out today with a green bean casserole, which is green beans, cream of mushroom soup, and a dried onion rings. And then I'm also going to be making myself either a twice baked potato or mashed potato with a little bit of drizzle of, I don't know, some sort of cheese across the top of it. There you have it. Meatloaf, the perfect comfort food for this time of year. Seriously, guys, this absolutely came out better than I remember. It's been years since I made this, but this is a recipe that I had actually written down because as I created it and as I changed it up a little bit, it just got better and better and better and better. So there are a couple of substitutions that you can make, and you saw those listed, but let me reiterate for those. I work with 3 pounds of very lean ground beef, nothing less than 93%. Sometimes if I can afford it, I'll use 96%. On average, I use 93 for the meatloaf because I want to minimize the amount of grease. And as you saw in the foil, there was very little grease that came out of that. You can use 80% or 85%. You'll just have a bigger puddle of grease in the bottom of in the bottom of your pan on the aluminum foil. But if it's more affordable for you to use a lesser grade beef, go for it. The recipe still works. The important thing is that you do not put it in a loaf pan. You put it on a cookie sheet on the foil so that that grease comes away from the meat. Let all the Italian flavors and everything that we put into that, let that be where your flavor comes from, not from the fat. So it's very healthy to make it in this particular way. Now, you can make the substitutions, as I said. If you're making it for just you, or maybe just you and your husband, cut the recipe in half and only do 1.5 pounds. 1.5 pounds will give you at least 6 servings, 6 full slices. So it'll be a meal and maybe a little bit of leftover, depending on whether you're foodies like me or not. However much you decide to eat is what you'll have left over or not have left over. But trust me, when you start eating it, it's divine. You can kick it up a notch based on a 3-pound meat recipe. If you take off 1 pound of beef, you can substitute 1 pound of either pork, ground pork, lean ground pork, or lean turkey, right? Ground turkey, mix that in. Or you can substitute in as much as 1 pound of ground sausage. But that's really pricey. So when I want to add sausage, I just cut back about anywhere from 1/4 pound to 1/2 pound of the beef, and then I substitute ground sausage. So you can go with the regular breakfast sausage, or you can go with the Italian sausage. You get it in the tubes, right? So you can kind of mix and match that way, depending on how much kick you want it to have. After you try this basic recipe and you feel how you think about how it comes out, how do you feel about how it tastes? Then based on your taste preferences in your household, then you can decide to modify it with different spices, different meats, different additives. Some people don't like to put onions in it. Some people decide that they want to chop up green and red peppers and put green and red peppers in there, or put green and red peppers in there with the onions, or chop up mushrooms and put mushrooms in there, or some people put corn in it. Guys, this is the basic Italian recipe. If you like meatballs, my best suggestion to you is just do the recipe as I've given it to you and wait for the next time you might make it to modify it how you think you might like it. Either way, I think it's going to come out freaking fantastic. Yeah, I cut it when I cut off the end piece. I had to have that as my taste test. It's what I call taint enough. It's like I seriously wanted more, but I had to leave it alone, let it set, and then I cut it into serving size, into basically a slice, because I made it the size of sandwich bread. So I cut it into slices and I put individual slices into the freezer. That way I can either pull out a slice and use it as a meal with potatoes, vegetables, whatever, or I can pull it out and use it as a sandwich, right? You warm it up, you put a little cheese on it, put a little marinara sauce on the top of it. Mwah. Chef's kiss. So good. Okay, let's get on to the second part of this video, and then we'll look at the recipe for the dessert, for the pie crust. Now, you've all known that I've been to DivaDog, Miss Lydia, on Whatnot quite a few times. She has amazing pet clothes. She works great deals. She does bundles, customized bundles for her shoppers. She's one of the top pet shops that are out there, not just for variety, but for price. Well, she asked me if I would promote one of her custom items that she does exclusively for her shoppers. Keep in mind, she has, I'll put it up here, DivaDogClothing.com. She has her own website. The item that I'm going to show you, it's called her pink box. It is a treat box. I'm trying to convince her to make this box available on Whatnot and not just on her website. She does have an Instagram account, but she doesn't really do a lot of selling off of Instagram. But I know a lot of you will go onto a website, especially if you know that it's affiliated with something that's already been reviewed. So her website, divadogclothing.com, is Miss Lydia, and you're going to see a lot of the same things, a lot of the same clothes. On Whatnot, she can do a little bit deeper discounts because the fees are less and costs are less and the shipping bargains are better. So I'm trying to convince her. Help me convince her that she needs to do these boxes on Whatnot and any place else she can. So I did get a couple of other things from her, which I will show you, but then I will show you the highlighted item that she wants me to promote. She actually approached me and asked if I would do this. Absolutely. You guys all know I do collaborations with companies to bring you great deals. Why would I not do this for a shop that I absolutely adore? So this was from a show on November 8th. I received everything on November 15th. I'm going to show you what I got first before I show you what she sent me. Okay, so the first thing she sent me as a thank you, actually it was a giveaway. This is a scarf. It's a hot pink neckerchief, big enough for humans, but it's hot pink camouflage. Really, really nice material. She had this in a variety of colors. She still has it in a variety of colors. She has the typical green camouflage. She has like this golden brown camouflage. She has the hot pink. I think she might have had a blue one as well, but I absolutely love this. I did win this in the giveaway, and of course I picked the hot pink. I don't know if I'll use it for Nala, if I'll use it for me, but it'll definitely get some use. It's very cool. Okay, let's get into some pajamas, some tops that I got from Miss Nala. Yeah. Each of these tops I have gotten, bear with me just a second here. Okay. I gotten 2 custom iron-ons and 1 pre-made item. So this particular item, this is a lavender, a nice soft lavender. This is a size 3X, and it says, I eat stuff. Oh, smells like that nice Febreze smell. Smells so good. It says, I eat stuff. She eats pretty much everything, don't ya? She's looking at me like, that's mine, Mom. Huh? What? People want to see your smiley face? Say, is this yours? Yes? You got the tail wagging? Say, put it on me, put it on me, put it on me. No, it's not going on, or not right now. Maybe later, baby girl. Okay. So, says, I eat stuff. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. She really wants this on. I'm going to show you how easy it is to get things on her. Okay, all right, here we go. You ready? I need that paw. Oh, good girl. Okay, now I need this paw, please. There you go. There's my baby girl. Says I eat stuff. Good girl. Not spoiled, is she? All right, can you move over so I don't roll on your toes? Move over, please. Thank you. All right, so now she thinks she's probably going to get to go outside, but she's still not allowed to go for walks. We're hoping that tomorrow she'll be able to go back for her walks. But she loves, especially like right now, it's a very damp, rainy day. She loves to be covered. She loves to have something on. All right, so that shirt typically sells for about $14, and I got it for $8. Now we have 2 custom tops, custom iron-on. Miss Lydia has, if you look in her Buy It Now, she has what looks like a lot of shirts with images on it, with iron-on. But what she's selling to you is the shirt with the iron-on. And you can pick the color shirt, you can pick the iron-on, you can pick the size. So she customizes everything. Takes her a couple of days to do it, but I had to have this one. Okay. Now, this is a 5X because the measurements require it to be a 5X in order to get her chest size. Okay. Look at that. Is that not adorable? Side-eye is my love language. Look at the bow on the top and the bling on the collar. And you've all seen her give me side-eye, right? Side-eye is my love language. This particular item, typically, if you were to get this out in the stores and then get the iron-on, you'd be paying about $18. And I got this for $12. I got it on the tan colored shirt because I just thought that it would go very, very nicely with these colors and with her color. So definitely worth the $12. And no, you're not getting that one too. Oh, she can smell what's in the pink box. She knows what's coming. All right. And the last item that I got, that I purchased. Now, this order was a mix of the promo item that Miss Lydia sent me and items that I bought. This one, absolutely love this. It totally fits her. I love this dark red. This is almost a wine red, but not quite. And it says, God's plan includes belly rubs. She was not feeling well yesterday, and I swear I spent 6 hours doing nothing but cuddling with her on the couch and rubbing my hand back and forth across her belly. She was in heaven. God's plan includes belly rub. This one also goes typically for about $18 elsewhere. I picked the red shirt, I picked the iron-on, and I got it for $12. Now, if you think about it, even the little, look at the little glitter. There's even little glitter stones in the stars. You see that? When you think about something being made to order for you, the time that it takes, it's not just you're not just paying for the shirt and the iron-on and your shipping, but you're also paying for the seller's time to customize the size of the shirt, the color shirt, and the design that you want on it from all the designs that she has. I think $12 is a very, very reasonable amount. All right. Now, let's take a look at what she wanted me to promote for her. I am thrilled about this, guys, and I think you will be too. You know how I have a canine contest going on, right? And by the way, don't forget to enter your animals. But DivaDog Clothing has her own pink box treat box. This is exactly what it looks like. All right. This box is full. And I will show you the value of each item. I'll put it up on the screen so that you can see exactly why it's worth. Number one, I just love the box. Can you imagine what else you could actually put in this box? But let's take a look. First off comes this nice little thank you. Look at that. Hot pink blinged out keychain in this beautiful little bag. And this comes with every box. You get a thank you inside every single box. Leather tassel. They're all tangled up here. There we go. Blingy dog. Isn't that amazing? Hold on a second here. I'm trying to open it up all the way so you guys can see it. Nice big lobster claw, nice solid ring. This is a quality item, guys. Miss Lydia does not go cheap. That is a quality item. You've all seen the black one I got. Now I have the pink one. Absolutely love it. A nice little thank you card that comes in the box. Says, you made my day with your order. I can't wait for you to open it. I hope you love it as much as I loved creating it. On the back, it gives you information where you can get, and I can't show this to you because you have to buy one in order to get it, but it gives you a code for 15% off on your next order from DivaDog Clothing. And it's 15% off her website, not her whatnot site. Just to be clear, it gives you a code that you can scan. You can use that, but that's a nice gift as well. Right off the bat, you're getting 15% off your next order. And it's anything. It's not just another box you're getting 15% off. It's clothing or anything else that she has. Look at how beautifully this is wrapped. Pink tissue. Pink tissue paper as well. All right, let's see what's in here. Pig ears. One ingredient, all natural pig ear. And this is a big one. Have you priced these, guys? Do you know how outrageous it is to get an ear this big? So you got a pig ear in there. You have a huge bag. Look at all these pieces. These are 10 pieces of dried duck feet. Nala loves these. I didn't think she would, but she does. These are a crunchy treat. They break down. They do not leave slivers. They're not sharp. They're not hazardous. One ingredient, duck feet. Go price these someplace. The prices are ridiculous on this. Okay, hold on. We got more. This is a pretty fair-sized box. This is chicken necks. This is a 6-pack. There's your chicken necks. These are freeze-dried, one ingredient, 6-pack of chicken necks. DivaDog brand. She's very meticulous about making sure she has quality items. Now, look at this. Look at this adorable little bag. It says Treats by DivaDog. And in this bag is a natural antler chew. This is an all-natural antler. I love that Lydia does one ingredients, natural things. Animals whether they're domesticated or wild animals, anything that's natural is so much better for them. I don't know how Nala's going to feel about this. She's never had an antler chew before. It doesn't have any kind of smell to it. But can I come in this cute little bag? Okay. And then there's one more. Oh, no, excuse me. There's two more things in the box. We've got a collagen chew, this is a collagen chew, which is a bully stick, and this is a jumbo. Let me get the rubber band off there. This is a 6-inch, really big, good size around collagen stick. So you've got a 6-inch, again, all natural. And the last thing she put in the bottom of this box is a clothing item. And this is how she customized. She asked me, when she asked me if I would promote her pink box for her, she asked me what size did Nala need, because different manufacturers have different size charts. So this is a black tank, but it's in Nala's size, and look at the design. Is this not adorable? Christmas, leopard heart, buffalo plaid paw prints. Absolutely love that. And this was part of the box. We already know these sell for about $18 or more. So I put the prices up for you as to what these would retail if you were to get them anyplace else. Beautiful box, wrapped in pink tissue. And you know, I'm surprised with the pink, because Lydia is such a diva herself. She wears a lot of color. And one of the colors I've almost never seen her in is pink. Love this box. Love all the ingredients. Love the steel. So here's what it costs on her website, but here's the value if you were to get it someplace else. Absolutely crazy. Guys, delivered to your door. If you need to customize a box, or you want to customize a box, simply send her a message as to what you would want in your pink box. Not every dog likes the same thing. Pink boxes can contain different items. I think what is in this particular pink box for Miss Nala is perfect, right down to that shirt. So DivaDog and her pink box still get 5 stars from KonneesLittleCorner. And the biggest recommendation I can give you to go check out her pet shows. She does separate shows for pet treats, which we did last night. I moderate for her to help her out. And she had a fantastic show last night. She was doing $1 starting bids. The things I picked up for $1 are crazy. Other people were getting steals left and right. She was literally cleaning house. She's very meticulous to make sure none of her things are at or anywhere near their expiration date or their best buy date. If they are, she donates them to the local shelters. She does not buy pallets, and I think it's important that you know that. She's one of the few shops that negotiates directly with the producers of the products. So whomever makes a certain item, whoever is the manufacturer or the creator of a certain item, she works with their sales, their direct sales, their wholesale department directly, and negotiates for the best price that she can get. So on some of her items, it might be a little higher priced, not a lot, still a deep discount from what you would get elsewhere. But that's why it's a little more higher priced. You're not getting returns or rejects when you shop at DivaDog. You're getting Brand new, off the shelf, straight from the manufacturer without the middleman in between. She's a direct purchaser. That means we get better products. Do we get the deep discounts like on a secondhand item or a reject or return? Not as deep, but you know what? It's good. I like the idea of all the single ingredient things that she has to offer. I also like the idea that I'm not getting a reject or I'm not getting something that is anywhere near expiration date, because I don't know how long it's going to take Nala to go through these things. She's on a journey, a weight journey, just like I am. So I dole things out very carefully and very slowly to her. But guys, check it out. If I had to pick any of the pet shops on Whatnot to send you to, this would be my number one, DivaDog. So go. Okay? Now, let's go back to Connie's kitchen, because I know you're all jonesing for the recipe of the graham cracker crust. So take a look. Here it is.
Let's make a graham cracker crust. This is probably one of the easiest recipes you will ever come across for a crust, and it makes the best. You only need 3 things. You need 1 sleeve of graham crackers, which is about 9 crackers. I get the cinnamon graham crackers, but if you have the regular ones, that's fine. If you want that extra cinnamon flavor, you're just going to add a ½ teaspoon cinnamon into the mix. Don't add it though if you've got the cinnamon crackers, because it'll be a little too overwhelming. You need brown sugar. I use the light brown sugar, or you can use granulated sugar. Either way, you're only going to use 1/3 cup of brown sugar, and you're going to use 6 tablespoons of melted butter. And make sure you melt this on a low temp so it doesn't burn. You don't want it to boil. You just simply want it to liquefy. That's it. That's your 3 ingredients that you need. You're going to need a mixing bowl. You're going to need a rolling pin or a food processor. And of course, you're going to need your pie plate to put your crust in when you're ready. Okay? Let me show you how easy this is. The first thing I'm going to do is, in a separate bowl, I forgot to get my scissors out. In a separate bowl, I'm going to put my brown sugar. I do not mix in the pie plate because you don't want things setting in there. So I use a separate little bowl for it. I'm going to take my 1/3 cup brown sugar and make sure it's a packed 1/3 cup. Packed solid, dump it in the bowl. That's it. 1/3 cup brown sugar. Brown sugar's done. That's one of the easiest parts of the recipe. All right. Do not add your butter until I tell you to add your butter. Don't get ahead of this. If you are using regular graham crackers that are not cinnamon, then at this point you're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon in with the brown sugar, and you're going to mix it all up really, really good. All right? Now, I'm using the cinnamon crackers, so I'm going to open the sleeve. If you want to use a food processor and have to have a big food processor to clean out when you're done, go for it. I take a 1-gallon bag. I pop the crackers in the bag. I throw away that plastic. Flatten it out. Try to get as much air out as you can before you actually seal the end of the bag. And please make sure it's sealed properly, or you're going to have a serious mess on your hands. I've got Grandma's old-fashioned rolling pin. Beat your crackers down. Great way to get out your frustrations. They roll out pretty easily. Give it a shake. Find the ones that didn't squish down. If you buy graham cracker crumbs, you can get the containers of graham cracker crumbs, you are going to use 1.5 cups. So if you buy the pre-crushed graham crackers and you don't want to have a little fun this way, this is actually quite enjoyable. Pushing them down, get the chunks out, granulate it up yourself. It's that easy. Okay, you got the nice small granules. Everything is done. I usually move it around a little bit, make sure I didn't leave any big pieces. Good. Okay, your rolling pin is clean, so you can put it away. All it touched was the plastic bag. Pull out your bowl with the brown sugar. Dump your crumbs in. And cleanup is easy because you just throw away the plastic bag. You're going to blend your crumbs with your brown sugar. Now, brown sugar will leave lumps. It's always the case. It's going to happen. What you want to do before you add the butter, I have this. This is a dough cutter. This is my grandmother's dough cutter. Right? You can use a dough cutter. You can use a fork. But what you want to do is you want to go in there and you want to break up those bigger lumps of the brown sugar so that it blends well. You can also do this with your hands. Just get in there with your hands. Brown sugar is a little sticky. It has moisture to it because of the molasses in it. If you're using regular sugar, if you're using granulated sugar and not brown sugar, then you just want to make sure that you get your lumps taken care of. You won't have as many lumps though with the white sugar, but I just like the taste that the brown sugar gives everything. Okay, well mixed, well declumped or delumped. Now I make a little well down in the center and gradually I just drizzle the butter. Make sure you scrape it out. Get it all down in there. So far you've only got one dirty dish. I love this recipe. I mix it up first with my little baking knife to get it started. You know, I tried putting my mic on and then I realized my mic was just not charged, and I figured, you know what, I'll just do this without a mic. I got a voice, it carries. All right, I got it mostly mixed. Set this aside because you might need it. I'm going to go back in with this, with my dough cutter, because technically what you're making is a graham cracker dough. You're making that graham cracker crust. Okay? Doesn't take much. Wipe it with your hands. Here's the part a lot of you don't like. Get in there with your hands. This needs to feel like wet sand. And it needs to stick together when you clump it. As long as you've got it sticking together when you clump it, like a dough, then it's ready for the pan. Ungreased. No butter, no spray. Completely ungreased pan. I'm going to set that aside. Give me a second here. I've got to get out something that I'm going to need. Okay. Take your dough, your crust, falls right out of the bowl. Push it down into the middle. Start it with your fingers to get it spread out. You're going to find that it sticks to your fingers, which is fine. It should be a little bit sticky, but as you work it, as you press it, and you want to use a 9-inch pan for this. You don't want anything bigger than a 9-inch pan. I started with my fingers to get it going. It can get a bit messy. Oh, it smells so good though. It smells like graham cookies cooking. And it's not even cooking yet. Okay. I take the bottom of a measuring cup. You can also use the bottom of a spoon, if you wish, the back of a spoon to do this. And you just start pressing it in place. This is the hardest part of the entire recipe. Press it down evenly. You'll see it starts to come up on the sides as you do that. You want to press it down as evenly as you can. Use the side of the cup to press it up against the side of the pan. Work your way around. You can see I'm turning the dish. I'm also using this thumb to guide the height. This pan is a little bit deeper. This is a deep dish apple pie pan that I'm using. One of the things that you can do is just when you go to the grocery store, just get some of those foil disposable pie tins, like the pre-made crusts come in, because they will work great as well. All right, I'm still pressing it down, trying to keep it as even as possible, using my thumb to guide the height, using the cup for pressure. You don't want your crust to be too thin. You don't want to try to get it all the way up the side wall. You want it to be about a 1/2 inch to a 1/4 inch beneath the side wall so that it stays nice and tight. If your crust isn't tight, what will happen is the minute you try to cut it, it's going to break apart. You want to keep it nice and firmly packed. There you go. That's a nice firmly packed pie crust. There's nothing on the bottom of this because of the butter. I've had my oven preheated at 350 degrees. I'm checking to make sure there are no see-through spots in the bottom of the pan because you don't want it thin on the bottom either. If you find it's a little too thin on the bottom, just use your fingers, spread it around a little bit differently. Got one spot over here that I'm not happy with, and one spot over here that has a little too much, so I'm just going to work it that way a little bit. Bring some of the mixture over. There we go. Now, remember, this is not a crust that's going to fluff up when you cook it. That's a crust that's going to stay exactly that size. My oven is preheated. This is going in at 350 degrees, and it's only going in for about 8 to 10 minutes. If you want a light graham cracker crust, then you don't use brown sugar. But right now, I smell brown sugar and cinnamon. That is like the best taste ever.
It's quick, it's easy, it's inexpensive to make. You have a variety of things, of ways that you can make it. There are recipes that I can give you that don't include as much butter if you want to eliminate a little bit of butter. This is my basic go-to recipe. And the crust does not taste buttery. One of the things I will suggest is if you want a thinner crust, you just use a bigger pan and you spread it a little further and you go all the way up to the top edges of that pan, just as if, you know, you were buying a pre-made crust at the store. So by making it a little thinner, that will make it a little more crunchy, a little crispier. You can also bake it instead of baking it 10 minutes or so, you can bake it for 20 minutes. And that too will make it a little crispier. You can put it in your freezer before you fill it. After you bake it, let it cool down to room temperature, then put it in your freezer for a couple of hours, then fill it and put it in your refrigerator with the filling. That will also give you a little bit crispier crust. I like my crust softer, and that's how it comes out. It's not crumbly, but it's not chewy. I kind of like it halfway in the middle. That's why I love this crust recipe. So try it. All right. If you need information on substitutes, if you have any questions about what you can and cannot substitute, by all means, put those down in the comment section and I will get your answers to you right away. So let me give you a little bit of an update. The hashtag mine ladies only box has been claimed. It will be going out in with tomorrow's post. I've already printed out the label. I've got everything ready to go. And the person who won it will find out when it arrives on her doorstep in probably about 4 days, maybe by Thursday or so. So if the winner wants me to announce who it was, they can send me a message and let me know that it's okay to do that after they get the package. And I did throw a little something extra into the box that was not shown. I like to add little extra surprises. So that box is gone. The electronics/household box is still up for being claimed. So if you have any interest in that electronics/household giveaway box, I am going to send that one out too because I think it's a perfect timing right before the holidays. We've got time to get it mailed out. So the first person that leaves a comment, right, or emails me, whatever I get first, right, there's my email address. Whatever I get first that says hashtag electronic, that is who is going to get that box as a holiday gift from Konnee's Little Corner to your corner, wherever that corner might be. Again, I don't care where you live. If your corner is in the United Kingdom, if it's in Hawaii, if it's in Australia, if it's in Germany, don't matter. You still have a chance to get your hands on that simply by being the first one to either email me or comment. Okay? Hashtag electronics. Okay. The last thing I want to do is I want to remind you to get those pictures in of your family dogs in their winter outfits, in their holiday outfits. Guys, I've gotten about a dozen pictures so far, maybe even a little bit more. I will be releasing the video. Your last day to get the pictures to me is December 6th, which is Saturday. Wow, I can't believe tomorrow's December 1st. So that's the last day to get the pictures into me by December 6th. On December 7th, I will post the video. Each pet will be identified by their name and a number, because that way, if there are, say there's 2 dogs that have the same name, maybe there's 2 Nalas out there, which I'm finding there's a lot of Nalas out there. But if there's 2 Nalas, you can either vote for Nala, whatever her number is, maybe it's Nala number 1, and maybe the other Nala is number 7. So it's important that when the time comes to vote for the dog, that you use the name and the number. So I will be putting up pictures, and each picture I put up, you'll have several seconds to take a good look at the picture, to write down the dog's name and the number, all right, that you think that you want to vote for. Okay? And then you'll put your votes in the comments. I'm going to give everybody a week, right? From, let's see, I'm going to give everybody until the 12th. So I'm going to release the video on Sunday the 7th, and I'm going to give you until Friday the 12th, and then I'll tabulate all the results, and then that weekend in December following the 12th, or the 13th or the 14th, I'm not sure if I'll do it Saturday or Sunday, I will release who the winner is. This is people's choice. Y'all going to get to vote for whatever dog you think is the most adorable, the cutest, whatever. If there's a tie, I will cast the deciding vote because Nala's not entering. So Nala will be the tiebreaker. Okay. She'll determine if I have 6 votes for this dog and 6 votes for that dog. Nala's going to decide who is going to be the winner. So that's where we're at. I think I've covered everything. Give a big thumbs up. Please don't forget to share it or hype it, right? Get it out into the universe so that everybody can see it. Thank you to everyone who has given me super thanks. I really appreciate anything that you do to help support this channel, whether it's being by hyping, by sharing, by talking it up, by doing a super thanks, by going to buymeacoffee.com and making a donation to help the channel. You guys are absolutely amazing, and you are the reason I keep doing this. So please make sure you are subscribed, and if you're not, why the hell not? Seriously, it's free. Why not? And yes, you can see I've got the Christmas stockings up. I've got the little Christmas bear out. I've got the Grinch blanket. I've got the Grinch jacket on the chair behind me. I've got Nala's picture up there that came from one of you. And I did put some shelving up because the same person that sent me that picture of Nala has graciously decided to send me matching frames with pictures of Sadie and Levi so that they can flank Miss Nala. And I will have my 3 babies up there because Sadie and Levi are still here. Nala proved that by digging that hole in the backyard. She proves it every day by behaviors that she does, that exactly what Sadie did. It's almost like Sadie saying, do this, it'll make mom happy, or do this, or don't do that. No, stop, don't do that. Because Nala will start to do something and all of a sudden she'll just like change her mind. I'm like, how did she know to change her mind? So I'm working on things around the house. I'm working on things outside. You will get to see the decorations, the Christmas decorations I put up outside. And yes, you'll get to see more recipes. What would you like to see next? Do you have a favorite recipe? Is there something you'd like? Homemade macaroni and cheese, homemade beef stew. What kind of comfort foods can I bring you on a shoestring? Because if there's one thing I know how to do, and that's how to cook a great meal at a low price. I love you guys. Stay hydrated. Above all else, please stay sweet and keep coming back because I'm going to be here waiting for you. Bye.